the Lance Stevenson experience.
Good block.
But then he forgot the play.
That's typical
over.
Steve. I mean, Lance, though.
This is the...
Make a good play. The play is still going on.
That should be his emoji. That face should be his new emoji.
Is it really still going on in Lance world?
No.
Once he's done, it's done. It's all good. You know what you're getting with Lance. Everyone's made that deal in Indiana.
That's true.
There you go. I'm fine with it. Welcome to the job. I'm Rachel Nichols. Our insider Brian Windhorst back in action. And the Hall of Famer, Tracy McGrady, back in action. Tracy has very nicely decided not to drape himself with diamonds like the other day, so poor Brian is not blinded.
Still recovering.
Reflection.
You'll be hearing from my lawyer.
It got a little bit bad. Sports can be comforting when they are well-defined, right? We know when scoring a basket gets you 2 points and when it gets you 3. We know the foul line is the same in every arena. But the rule of law breaks down when we get into postseason awards, and it really becomes anarchy when people can't even agree over the criteria for the award. Take MVP. Are we talking value to the team, or is it to the league? And is it the best player on the best team, or the best player on the worst team who is doing the most with the least around him? And is it even the best player? Of course not.
No.
That would be crazy.
No.
We're not doing that. We're giving the award to the guy with the best stats over a particular 82-game stretch, even though that should really be its own separate award. Yep, said it again. Now, in the midst of all this madness, the Rookie of the Year award should be an island of calm. I mean, only a small chunk of NBA players even qualify for this thing. But then last Saturday, Ben Simmons not only came out and said he should win the award, when he was asked what other rookies have caught his attention this year, he answered, quote, none. That caught Donovan Mitchell's attention, and here was his tweet responding. Cute. Now, last night, Mitchell upped the ante by strolling into the arena wearing this sweatshirt, yes indeed, that has the dictionary definition of the word rookie printed on there. Of course, that is a shot at the fact that Ben Simmons was actually drafted back in 2016, but then entirely missed what was supposed to be his rookie season due to a broken foot. The argument would be that Ben got paid by the team, got to absorb a year of learning what it's like to be an NBA player, that he is not a rookie now. It's a nonsense argument because this is kind of like the location of the foul line. The league has a specific clear rule for this. You are a rookie the first year you play. That's just the rule, period. That is how Blake Griffin won Rookie of the Year when he was technically in his second year in the league because he sat out the first year with a knee injury. And of course, Mitchell knows all this. He's shown himself to be such a great kid. He's just having fun here. But boy, did that sweatshirt set the internet ablaze. Look at the IG comments. Yeah. Then Simmons himself responded. Here he is after the Sixers won last night.
If that's the only argument he has, I'm in pretty good shape now. So there's a rule in the NBA for a reason. And I'm not going to wear a sweatshirt tomorrow, though.
I'm not going to wear a sweatshirt tomorrow. Mitchell responded with this tweet. Then it just kind of became a free-for-all. Even Mitchell's sweatshirt, of course, had the word playing as part of its definition of what a rookie does. So Dictionary.com got involved with this tweet. And then Blake charged in and, to me, kind of won the internet for the night with this tweet. I mean, come on, that's good. That's good. Look, all of this is great. It's great for the NBA. It's great for both of these guys. Personally, I will vote for Ben Simmons this year. I'm pretty sure the majority of my fellow voters will too. And yeah, it was an advantage for him to get that extra year of watching from an NBA bench, but it's also an advantage that he's 6'10". Every player who hits the floor in this league has a range of advantages. Pro sports is not a fairness contest. But that doesn't mean Mitchell hasn't done exceptional things this season. He's been an absolute joy to watch, energizing a team that not much was expected of. Plus, I mean, come on, he's got great taste in sweatshirts. And hey, maybe next year that can be an award too.
And an Adidas logo, T-Mac.
I love it.
We're going to point that out. So, Tracy, first of all, as soon as I saw that Adidas logo, I was like, someone at that company needs to raise, right? You have a problem with this rule, right? Because it is a rule, but we can argue. I mean, do you think the rule's unfair?
You said it in your monologue. Like, Ben Simmons had an advantage on Donovan Mitchell or other rookies because he's accustomed to the traveling, he's accustomed to practice time, where he needs to be, etc. Like scheduling, he's accustomed to all of that. Whereas this guy's coming in cold turkey, you know, first year. And when he goes into next year, which will be his third year, it's not going to say his second year. However, this is his first year as a NBA player, so I think they need to change that. Your first year as participating in an NBA game is your rookie year. No matter if you were in for 2 years or 3 years without playing a game, this is your rookie year.
All right, real talk here. The NBA isn't changing anything because they love this. They love that there comes to debate about the Rookie of the Year award. They love that there's a debate that Rachel keeps bringing up about the MVP award. They're not going to change it because they're already victorious, because this is something that we're talking about. But I will say this. You want to know why you think Blake won the internet? Because Blake was the only person who was doing this with kind of humor. The one thing I don't like about this is there's edge. Like,
You think I think they're in on it.
oh no, I don't think so at all. I think Ben is taking direct shots
Absolutely.
at Spider Mitchell. And by the way, I don't like that look, even though I think Ben Simmons is rookie year. 2 weeks ago, I was on the show and I said I was leaning towards Mitchell.
Yes.
Because Ben Simmons got the year. But Ben Simmons has been so great over the last 2 weeks.
Why does it count against him?
It doesn't count against him. I'm just saying my ballot is in and I voted for Ben Simmons.
Ooh, your ballot's in.
But I don't think
about that later.
I don't think it's a good look for Ben Simmons to be downplaying Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan
I just don't
has
think it's a
been
good idea.
sensational this year. I mean, I actually think it should be co-rookie of the year because of what he's up against in the Western Conference.
Right.
He doesn't have another all-star on his team. He's the leading scorer for this team as a rookie. Gobert is, yeah, he's
I was
good.
going to say, he's got a guy that a lot of people are going to vote Defensive Player of the Year, and a guy a lot of people are going to vote Coach of the Year. I just don't want to pretend he's doing nothing. But I also don't like the idea that...
But you have a rookie leading
I agree.
these guys
No, I agree.
in a deep Western Conference, the Wild Wild West out there, and they're in the fourth spot right now.
Third,
Like that, he has a great case to be Rookie of the Year as well, and that's why I think they deserve to be co-Rookie of the Year.
I'm not saying a bad word about either one of them.
Right, and
No.
I do absolutely agree with that. And it is so strange, right, that if you do say, okay, look, it's called Most Valuable Player or Rookie, you know, you have to pick, right? You eventually have to pick, because they don't let you vote for co. You have to vote for one. It's strange that we've gotten to the point that if you do make a decision and vote for one, you're automatically, you know, ripping on the other guy. Donovan's been great.
Do you think the Sixers can make the playoffs without Ben Simmons and have Joel Embiid in the lineup and everybody else? They can make the playoffs in the East?
But again, this is a...
No, just...
Yes.
Do you think they will make the playoffs in the West without...
No. But you can make different arguments. That's the point, Trace. You can make different arguments.
Okay, but then it gets back to, and this, again, loops back to the MVP, and not even the one major argument I'm talking about, but when we say, is it the best player on the best team, or is it the best player on the worst team that wouldn't do well without him? How do you justify that? Yeah. Right? It's just tough.
By the way,
they're both great. They're allowed to be
MVP
great.
NBAs.
They could split the award if they tie.
should.
If they tie,
If they tie, which has happened before. But that means it just has to do with the numbers and the votes. You vote 1, 2, 3. Each guy gets different points based off whether he gets a first, second, or third place votes. If the points end up equal, and that has happened before.
But it's unlikely.
They will be co, but that's tough to do. They're both really, really good, and one can be better without the other one not being trash.
Right.
Right? And by the way, last year, just amazing because Joel Embiid. Anyway, we're going to get to that. The Nuggets and the Timberwolves square off in an epic winner-take-all game tonight. This is why this is so cool, guys. This is just the third time under the current playoff format that the winning team of a game on the final day of the regular season will make the playoffs, and the losing team will have to go home. Jimmy Butler pledged to make an impact earlier today at shoot-around. And Tracy, I got to ask, do you think the pressure is on his and the Wolves' shoulders or on the Nuggets?
I'm going to say Minnesota because I look back at preseason, the predictions. I mean, I had this team at least top 4, you know, in the Western Conference with the addition of Jimmy Butler. And the guys, you know, younger guys getting better, Towns and Wiggins. And it just hasn't panned out. These guys haven't played consistent defense. They haven't played consistent basketball all year. But I think them being home, you know, this is like that Game 7 in the playoffs. You have the home court advantage, able to, you know, extend your season if you win this game. I'm putting the pressure on Minnesota tonight.
You're darn right, the pressure on Minnesota. This is arguably the biggest regular season game in Timberwolves history. Not that the history is all that impressive. It is definitely the biggest game in Karl Anthony Towns' career. It's definitely the biggest game in Andrew Wiggins' career. It's the biggest game Tom Thibodeau has coached since he's been running the organization. It's an opportunity for their fans to celebrate something. If they win tonight, even though it'll be the 8th seed and they're facing certain doom against the Rockets, they'll be able to celebrate something they haven't been able to celebrate in a while. It's all on Minnesota.
Yeah.
And frankly, if Minnesota doesn't win, no matter the scenario, it's a failure of a season.
Right.
I know that they've had injuries, and I know that it's competitive out there.
I don't think
it's a failure of a season if they don't win this game tonight.
Yeah, I look at Denver. Denver has played well, holding down the fort because their best player, second best player, if you want to, Jokic, Paul Millsap was out pretty much half of the season, right? They had a lot of injuries, and Gary Harris has been out. So, with that being said, the pressure really falls on Minnesota because these guys have been relatively healthy, and they just haven't played, consistent basketball. So it's on them.
Look, Andrew Wiggins has been sort of the underlying story of these last couple of weeks. Where are you on him and what he has to do now?
Andrew Wiggins, listen, this is your 4th year in the league. You're a max contract. They played last week in Denver. Jimmy Butler wasn't back. Wiggins had a terrible game. Andrew Wiggins, you have got to come up and play like the player that you were expected to be as the #1 overall draft pick, the player that the Wolves expect you to be when you sign the max contract. This is the type of game that you have to deliver on. Look at these last 5 games.
Yeah, that's
like I'm not even so worried about the points per game because I know Jimmy Butler came back. He has got to deliver tonight. Now, I think Jimmy Butler is probably the most important player for the Wolves tonight, but the biggest variable in this game is how Andrew Wiggins is going to play. And I would go so far as to say that the way Andrew Wiggins plays in this game tonight will shape how we view his first 4 years in Minnesota. So no pressure, but pressure.
So what he's saying is, remember when they had a little stretch a couple weeks ago where they were playing awful basketball and Karl Anthony Towns took it upon himself in Atlanta.
Came out with that crazy game afterwards.
Yep. This is something that Andrew Wiggins had to do. Either Andrew Wiggins or Karl Anthony Towns. This is the type of game. I'm not saying you got to go out and have 50 points, but you got to have a big night tonight to advance.
So you are saying Andrew Wiggins, if he really wanted to prepare for this game, he should have been on a Twitch with Ben Simmons last night. Coming up, the Rockets lost a key defensive piece last night. No, seriously, I think this is a big story. We're going to be talking about it. First, though, here's our distant replay. This date in 1997, Eddie Jones, right here in L.A.
EJ.
Jones takes it away from Johnson.
Oh, my God. Oh, that was great.
Wow. That was a long-distance finger roll.
A little freeze frame there. I like that.
Trace, what was he thinking when he took off? What was he thinking?
Like, I hope I get there. I hope I get there.
No, but
I hope I get there.
Nobody was there to swat that away. That could have been an epic block, but, it turned out to be an epic highlight.
I hope I get there. Because I know that his venue was bad.
Was he thinking he was Dr. J? He was going to...